Hey, everybody, and welcome to our second episode of our first session of Forsaken. Now, in the last episode, the pack had gotten their morning breakfast. Their Kahalith had a bit of a vision the night before about spirits of fire and spirits of winter fighting among, like, essentially the ruins of Chicago. And they discovered a few minutes later that a library down the street from their pack haven is erupted into flame. Just a complete inferno. So they all go there to investigate. We have two members go into the shadow, Vincent and Linnea, to see what's going on alongside their totem, Frostwolf. And they get closer and start to investigate. And let's see what they find.
They've gone insane.
Best we can do is try and take them out of it and calm them down so they can put the fire out once the fire trucks and everything get here.
All right, get me close.
We're getting close.
Yeah, you guys will start heading closer and closer with Winterwolf right behind you. Now, Winterwolf stands back, probably a good 20, 30 yards away from the blaze. Not because he's afraid, but because he's looking at it. Like, he's studying what's going on. He's not quite sure. He seems taken aback as much as you guys are. When you guys get closer, you'll see that the spirits of the stone walls are warped and mutated as well. This library has been there for some time. It's got essence from all the people who come in, the patrons that have, patronized its walls and brought stuff out. The love of books that have been there have created like awakened spirits in some regard. So there are spirits of books, as you will see, in between some of the flame spirits that are also maniacally dancing around this fire as if this is the best thing since sliced bread. As the stone spirits start to melt and form and turn towards you, as if they've just noticed your presence, you'll see their eyes, this like the darker pits, like in the bricks themselves, will be alight with this maniacal flaring flame. And that's when. Go ahead.
I have a quick question just about the forms.
Yes.
I know we can only stay in Garu form for a limited time. What about like
Dalu and
Urshal
the others? You're fine. It's just that Garu is more for just killing. It's that destruction form. If you stay in it too long, you risk a death rage.
Gotcha. Okay. I am going to shift into Urshal.
Okay.
Which is the direwolf.
Yep. You can do that as an instant action on your turn for free, or spend an essence and make it reflexive like right away.
No, I'm not going to spend the essence.
Okay.
I'm just going to do the reflexive action. Because my action, I'm going to attempt to intimidate these Jaglings and Gaffling flame spirits. I'm going to intimidate them to relax. Basically using the weather, the frost around here, as a threat. That I'll use this and I'll douse them completely if they don't calm down. I don't want them to go out. I just want them to relax.
Okay.
Intimidating someone to relax. It's a bold move, Cotton.
Right.
See how it works for him.
Back the hell down. I'm a direwolf in the shadow. You have Frostwolf behind you. I'll give you +2 modifier.
Okay.
However, you're going to reduce their resistance. So, resistance on a little guy like this. Let's take a look. It's a dragon, so -2. Or it's Gaffling, so -2 to your roll.
Okay. And that'll be manipulation plus intimidation or presence plus intimidation?
I'd say presence, because you're trying to forcefully do it, like with the raw power of your presence.
Presence will work, actually.
Either way. If you want to justify manipulation, I'll hear you out 100%.
Manipulation because, for the most part, I can't control water or anything, so it's kind of a lie.
That's a good point. Valid. Well, you can rely on that, or you can rely on the force of you being there plus Winterwolf behind you. What do you think Vincent would push for more?
I think the full force with Winterwolf. Either like the die pool itself doesn't really change as more flavor. Yeah. And with Winterwolf behind me, I think the powerful presence makes more sense than just a simple snide manipulation.
Sure. Go ahead.
All right. And then a specialty gives an extra die, correct?
Yes, sir. That'd be a modifier +1. Because the -2 from the defense and the +2 from Winterwolf kind of cancel out. So you get +1.
Gotcha. That works.
I may have fucked up. I don't know how much essence I have, nor do I know how to figure that out.
What is your primal urge?
1.
You have 10 essence and can spend 1 per turn.
I'm cool as fuck.
There we go. 3 successes works.
Full of essence.
You'll see some of the fire gafflings slowly back off, but they start taunting you all. You're just going to stand behind your totem? You can't do anything. Come over here and make us stop. You know, like literally just fucking with you. In the real world, people can hear the sirens start to kind of pitch around the neighborhood. They're still a ways off, though. Like, they have to make it through this 8 inches of snow, which is going to take a while. Additionally, though, as this thing happens in the shadow, you guys see the flames start to flutter a bit back and forth. It dies down a small bit, but then flares back up again.
Cool.
So back in the shadow, we've had Vincent try to intimidate them. Linnea saw it kind of worked for a minute, but now they're just taunting you.
Cool. I'm gonna shift to Garu. I have Father's form, so I don't have to worry about attacking him.
So you go straight up fucking full war form.
Yep, and I'm gonna step toward him and go, okay, you want us to make you?
So, for chat, basically, Linnea burst into this massive, overly muscled, half-man, half-wolf form. Being a hunter in darkness, this is very natural to you because this is the type of shit you do. You emerge in your Garu form. For those in Apocalypse, this is their Krynos form. And you take a step forward. What do? Are you going to initiate a combat towards them? Or are you...
Predator's claim.
Oh, okay. So you
Want me to
activate...
make you? I'll fucking make you.
So as Vincent is watching in the shadow, Linnea goes full on Garu and then activates Predator's Claim. For 10 yards around her, as you guys are walking closer, she acts as if she's rank... Was it plus your purity or is it plus your...
+2.
Your total renown is 3, so you act as if you're a rank 3 spirit at this point in time. Mm-hmm. You start stepping towards them, and they start slowly backing away, and you can see that they're still wanting to engage with you violently, but they're cowed a bit by your presence, because you're now a rank 3 spirit essentially approaching them. You're now like a major jagling walking up going, what's up? And their gafflings going, we throw fire, you know?
Oh, shit.
Right. So they're backing up, but what gives you pause is that as they back up, the spirits of the stone of the building itself start to crumble away from the structure and form this pseudo-humanoid form in front of you made out of this rocky, crackly substance, the spiritual essence of stone. And it goes down to the ground and picks up a massive wad of stony earth and hefts it as if it were to throw it at you.
Are you the one who caused this?
It says no, but I will end it, and goes to attack.
I'd say, actually, I have a thing for that.
Okay,
It said no. I want to know whether or not it's telling the truth.
fair enough. Yeah, this is your wonderful other gift. So at 1 you get success, not exceptional. It is telling the truth. It did not start this fire.
Oh, cool.
But I will give you that whenever it does this overtly hostile action towards you, you can see its eyes are obviously insane. It's not in its right mind. The spirit will roll. It's essentially blast, which is still a charm or a numina these days. Essentially, a spirit rolls its finesse plus its power, and it has a 1 damage base. So, what is your defense?
That's a good question that I'm not sure the answer of.
Should be on your character sheet, page
On the
1.
sheet.
Page 1,
Defense.
down below. Defense. He just wants to go home.
3.
3. All right, so it will subtract 3 from its roll. So it only gets to roll 1d10.
Don't forget you're in Garu form. So that changes because you're stamina and shit.
Well, does your dexterity change? Let's look at the cheat sheet.
Yes, it goes +1.
+1. Okay. What's the lowest between your dexterity and your wits in this form? So your dexterity goes up by 1.
And my wits is at a 3 normally, so they're even.
So it's even. Okay, so it's always gonna be 3 regardless. It's a range attack, so actually it's a thrown attack. So add in your athletics. Do you have athletics?
Did I take? I did. I took it out of athletics.
Right. So your eventually your defense is a 4. So for this, it gets a chance dice. So it needs a 10.
No tens for you. Oh,
No
close.
10s for you.
This glob of spiritual debris and rock and earth gets hurled towards you, hits the ground, and just shatters into a bunch of spiritual shards around you as it tries to effectively blast you. At this point, Vincent sees a little bit into the building itself as it has peeled away. The shadow here is deeply, deeply, deeply burnt. The smell of burnt flesh hits you, and you can see this like fleshy pink on the ground in the shadow inside the library that's been scorched and burned and is like pulsating and just flowing over with like a nasty greenish pus.
Oh yay! We found a male
Is that,
shit.
is that considered a spirit itself?
It is
It's
not.
a wound.
It's a wound.
It's the wound.
And I hate to be the one to correct you, Ray, but I'm pretty sure it's called debris.
Debris. Debris in British.
Debris.
All that French he took.
So yeah, you see what clearly is a wound to you. Being your auspice, this is what you handle.
Yes.
So the way to handle this is to stop the physical issue first, and then run out the spirits that are crazed around this wound.
Okay.
Because once you
So
start
fire-
changing everything, you can start healing that wound slowly over time. Now,
fire,
a normal
basically got
fire.
rid of the fire in the stone now.
Yep. A normal fire would not have done this.
Right. I would
So
like to use
basically-
Shadow's Gaze, but I don't want to use it for its. I want to use it for its flavor, not necessarily for what it does. Basically, you could look into the core, into the heart of the spirit,
Right.
and use an essence and kind of perceive its ban and shit like that. I want to see what's wrong with it. Like,
Okay.
what is driving it insane? Well, the wound, I take it, but
Sure. Give it a shot. You never know. Worth a shot, right?
yeah.
What are you using, Jeff?
Shadow Gaze?
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I was
I'll
reading the
spend
same thing.
my essence, of course.
So, this spirit, its ban is essentially to never. It can't let this space go unprotected, essentially. It's a stone guarding, it's the outside wall of this. It's supposed to protect the insides. So, anything that would violate that, it can't allow it to happen. That ban has been twisted right now. Now it's just angry and has to destroy everything around it. The wound has driven it effectively insane.
Okay. I think I have an idea for that, actually. That doesn't involve killing it.
Okay. So we have Linnea still in Garu form though. Like she's in war form. Like she's there to kill shit with this form. You focus on the stone spirit and you figure out what's wrong with it. We have initiative now. So it's roll a 1d10 and we add your initiative modifier to that.
I got +2 to my initiative modifier, and you also have one as well in Garu form.
Yep.
I have 5 then.
Character sheet has a spot that says roll initiative.
Does it now? That's awesome.
Oh,
Is it?
Is everybody rolling initiative?
Just the
that
shadow.
I shouldn't do it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, just roll a normal d10. Yeah, dice. It doesn't. Successes don't mean anything. Or you can just hover over it. It should tell you.
There we go.
Oh, look at that shit.
And actually, my initiative is 10 because I get a +2 for being in
Right.
this form.
Damn. So Linnea has gone on 13.
And I'm 10.
Vincent, I'll give you one sentence to relay anything you found by using your gift that she can, act on her turn. A social soliloquy, one might call it.
The wound is distorting its nature.
All right, Linnea, you're going 100% first. You are acting
Excellent.
super fast. Your senses are primed. You're in Garu form. Winterwolf's right behind you. What are you doing?
I'm going to attempt to intimidate this fucking rock spirit into sitting its ass down.
Okay. Subtract a 3 from your roll. That's its resistance.
Okay.
Now, I have a question.
Yes.
is it possible to alter this? Because I am also intimidating it, but I am basically telling it that if it keeps on the course it's doing, it will not be able to fulfill its job and we'll have to destroy it. So it will completely outright fail at its job.
So you want to give essentially a teamwork bonus to her.
Yes.
All right. Let's take a look. That's an
Right. We
ones who don't
manipulate and
wanna
do
see
terrible
combo.
shit to make sure we can win.
Oh,
So-
I'll fucking skin this spirit and wear its fucking head as a hat.
What just happened in this game?
Well,
I'm sorry.
Yo,
if it's any consolation, Ray, I'll be telling the people outside that I'm a spiritual leader with a church, and I just, by the grace of God, happen to be here. Anyways, you can continue with them.
fair enough.
And
Yeah,
if they would
no,
like,
that's
they can join
cool.
his congregation at so and so.
So Jeff, I want you to roll your roll for intimidation. Every success you get adds to Jesse's roll. It adds success to her.
alright.
So Jesse, basically, you just combine successes. You're working together.
My ad here. Here we go.
Sorry about that,
Add
Chet.
3 dice.
Damn.
Pardon.
All right, so now Jesse, you can roll your intimidation.
I get no successes.
Well, you guys got 3 together. That's the important part. So what's the goal of the intimidation here? Like what?
Basically, get this fucking stone spirit to back the fuck off.
It's,
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's kind of that, and basically to try and get it to snap out of its stupor, like, hey, you're failing at your job right now.
So
allowing
you're
the
trying
fire
to
to
shake it
outside.
back to its original ban and duty
Exactly.
through intimidation. All right. Effectively, you guys, with Winterwolf standing behind you, you feel his presence grow stronger. You're threatening of a stone spirit. Winterwolf is not really affecting that, so there's no modifier from him. But you feel that stone spirit kind of take a moment, like to gather itself, and then starts just like walking around the side of the building, get away from you. It's for some reason you get the sense that it feels compelled to attack you and is leaving now, so it doesn't have to do that.
Okay, that's fair.
They're getting mad at me.
So the
Oops.
stone exits stage left, but you still have all these gafflings and jaglings of the fire spirits that are still there, and the occasional knowledge spirit inside from the books. In the physical realm, as Cyrus is trying to calm everybody out, the kid passes out underneath you. People are trying to see to him medical attention. He can't maintain it. He's probably like 10, 12 years old at most. He just passes out because the burning is just too strong. Now, you guys do feel through your connection to the Frost Wolf and your packmates through him that they're making some sort of progress on the other side, but it's still kind of shaky. The fire is still blazing as strong as it was before. But through their connection with you, you guys are getting the sense that something's ill at ease inside that building.
I will try to approach a little bit closer to the fire.
Okay.
And I will. It's like I'll try to kind of like, duck down a little bit to kind of get under the. It's like get under the heat and kind of try to look inside to see if there's anything I can see, like just from the door at the very least.
So you start making your way close to the fire, cover yourself from the heat, and you'll see Cyrus has foregone all sorts of like caution to that when he went and got this kid and pulled him through the door. He's still by the fire making sure the kid's okay and trying to make sure everybody's like calming the fuck down, like, trying to be like have faith as Cyrus is wont to do. You make it that way up like this little like staircase and like the handicap ramp to get up towards that door, and you look inside. You want to roll your wits and perception to see if you can see anything?
Yes, I would. Okay, so what would be the appropriate skill for this one? Because I've got my wits. Do you want me to use investigation?
Well, are you looking for something in particular that you think you should scan for, like something out of place, or are you looking more for just like to see what the hell is out there?
I guess, or maybe I would use larceny for this. I'm basically, since I was just experienced this last night, I'm basically looking for signs that maybe an accelerant was used.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be investigation.
The only accelerant here is Satan.
Evil is the accelerant here.
Evil is afoot.
Okay, so you want me to use wits and investigation?
Yes, that would definitely apply. Actually, I would let you sub out investigating for your larceny because that is a criminal thing.
I would appreciate that because that's a bigger role.
So you peek in, you lean aside, and you're just kind of like the
Really quickly.
Yep.
I do want to point out my gift that allows me on perception related rolls. That I do
That's an
get
exceptional
a
success.
exceptional success on 3s rather than 5s.
So you peer in and you put one hand up to kind of like shield your face from all the heat just wafting out of this inferno inside the library. And you scan across. You know what signs to look for because you've kind of, not just you've done this before, you cleaned up after it enough times, especially recently, to kind of spot the signs of arson. There's no signs of accelerant, no clear path of flame that's followed. What gets you though is as you kind of peer through the entrance, you see what you assume to be the origin point because there's this blast like pattern on the floor.
I don't do magic, Morty. I do science. One takes brains, the other takes dark eyeliner.
Who do you want to give it to, Bobby? Is that going to be the NPCs or the PCs? I side on the NPCs.
Don't listen to him.
Don't feed the monster.
Well, I'll wait. I'll discuss while he's making his decision. So, you see what you think to be the epicenter of this explosion, and there's a body crumpled down, almost in a kneeling position, at the center of this blast pattern that erupted from it, and just scorched all the walls. The fire is not touching that particular point, but it's just engulfing everything else. Now,
So
go ahead.
Oh, no, you said it's a body, like as in, is it a scorched corpse or is
Yep.
it a? Okay.
That's kind of on its knees. You can't tell the gender because everything's like blackened and burned and charred. It looks like whatever it was, this individual fell into place and then just whoosh, the fire took off. It's clearly not alive. That's for damn sure. But there's no accelerants used. No gasoline. You don't see any marks from where an explosive would have gone off or an incendiary. It just started right there.
Okay. Let's see if I don't know for sure. My character is still kind of a bit clueless as to how this spiritual stuff works. He's kind of still a bit of a newbie to this,
Right.
but
As
he's
we
going
all are.
to he's going to take his coat off and actually kind of bundle it up over his head. He's
Thank
then
you,
going to take
Bobby.
He's then going to grab the snow and then kind of like pile that on top so that he can get himself a bit of that protection. And he's going to go down low and he's going to crawl into the building towards that body.
Okay. So,
Bobby.
as you make your way, ducking down, Cyrus, William, and Robert, you'll see Ethan kind of like duck down and throw snow on himself, much like Cyrus did when he crawled in to get the kid. He's covering himself as much snow as possible and starting to crawl like, army style through this opening hallway. And you can see the snow melt and start to smoke and evaporate off his back as he gets further into the room. Once you get past that first opening foyer, essentially, you will take 3 lethal.
Okay.
You can soak it, however, with your stamina and let me open this up. And your resolve.
Stamina plus resolve.
Yep.
Okie dokie.
You also have the 1 dice in the pool if you wish to use that right now. You don't have to.
I'll save that.
Okay.
You never know when we're gonna need that. Once I go actually inside, I'm mostly out of it's kind of hard to see me at that point, right?
Yeah, because of the fire, nobody's really going to be digging into looking who's in the building still. As far as I know, everybody went out. But now, as you go, people are like, "What are you doing? Stay out here!" And you're like, "Fuck it, grab me crawl."
Okay. So once I'm actually inside and kind of a little bit further in, I'm gonna shift to Daru,
Okay.
so I can get the bonus on the stamina.
Okay. Yeah. No, that definitely works. I'll let you go ahead and take that on this roll.
Okay, thank you.
You
Good
managed
roll.
to take no damage. The heat is just
All right.
battering on your back. You can feel it saturate your clothes. The smell of the smoke and the flame in here is so intense. All the pages in the books that have burned, they're just wafting across the ground and just slamming into your face. You manage to, breathe okay, by trying to be careful and covering your mouth with cloth, things of that nature. The heat's unbearable, though. And as you start making your way towards that corpse, Cyrus, you see Ethan just crawl in and around the corner towards the main part of the library, the main room.
Okay.
Like, he's gone. But once he gets out of view of most people, like maybe like I'd say 4 or 5 yards in, you see him shift up to Dalu, like the half-human, that enlarged human form, the Glabro, essentially.
Teen Wolf.
Yep. Don't do it, man. It's Daru.
Garu or die. Do you do anything, or you just still remind the kid?
I mean, I'm gonna just try to keep everybody back from
Okay.
going in after him. Clearly, he must have heard or seen something I didn't, and I'm concerned I may have, made heroes out of these people. So I'm just gonna make sure nobody goes in after him.
That
He'll be fine.
would be a very appropriate presence or manipulation plus like your persuasion.
Can do.
Because
He's
as
old.
as he goes in, the half dozen or so people out here are like, what are you doing? Oh my God, get back here. And you'll feel some of them start to move forward as you're like, no, everybody stay back. It's okay. He'll be fine. Stay
You
safe.
said presence and what, huh?
Presence and persuasion, or if you wish, manipulation and persuasion.
It's the same. It doesn't matter. No mods.
No, sir.
No mas, no fuss.
Good
Nice.
fucking roll.
Nobody goes. Nobody goes. Like, you start talking, and the crowd just starts to listen to every word you say. You just completely enrapture them with your voice, which
The
you're
spirit
used
has
to.
come upon him.
The spirit has graced you with his presence to command the masses.
And I'll let them know, he's a brother in my congregation, and I have faith in him as God has faith in him, and he has empowered us to save people. And he must have seen or heard something. God must have called to him to go in there to save that person. Now, everyone stay back here. You'll be safe out here. And if he needs me, I will hear his calls, and I will go for him.
People will actually start praying. You got forces.
Oh,
That's
God.
almost an exceptional success. People are like, yes, of course. It's God has a. Please, like, lead us in prayer. William
Already.
and Robert, you hear this go on. Like, you're right there. Ethan sneaks his way into the building for God knows what. He didn't communicate. But then, as the crowd starts to surge forward, Cyrus stands forward, like, no. Only thee that are without
We
sin
must
shall
pray.
pass. And starts to preach to this crowd, and they just start listening to him. And people start praying, giving the Lord's Prayer that may he be safe. What do you guys do outside?
When Cyrus gets knee deep into preaching, I am using that distraction to make my way around the building.
Okay. You're going to head around the backside?
Yep.
Okay, that's not a problem. William starts making his way. Everybody out here is distracted. All civilians are literally either in prayer or just waiting for Cyrus to say the next word. Because clearly he knows what's going on. Like, you guys are not normal people off the street. You have a plan. So William sneaks around the back. The building, you can see all the windows have already cracked and broken because of the heat of the fire. Everything's the shrub. Everything is boiling out. Smoke's just piling out of the building. But you get around back, you can see also the park just directly behind the building is laid out there. You can see the ice along the little river that kind of circles the park itself. Snow's still falling. What do you want to do? You get around back, no issue.
It has the fire completely engulfed every aspect of the building.
Primarily the where all the books are stored. So like the offices in the back seem to be okay right now. They're mostly concentrated in just where all the books were, like the main area where the references were, where the children's books were. The office and administration have not seemed to be touched quite yet.
I am going to look through those windows to see if there's anybody trapped in back.
Okay, so you pulling up to one of the windows. Given that the heat's so intense from this particular fire, some windows are cracked, but you managed to kind of like rub a little ways away, like some of the steam and such away from the outside to actually see inside. It looks empty. Maybe some of the people outside were people working primarily. Who knows? Like, you don't really have a count of who was here beforehand.
Well, right.
But the people outside, they look kind of like business casual. Maybe they're the office workers. Don't know.
Well, I'm not going to break into the building. It doesn't. I'll complete my circuit around.
Okay. You come across the other side and just checking the windows. You don't really see anything else out of place. Russ, what does Robert do? You see William go off one side. Cyrus is like controlling the crowd completely. Ethan vanished into the flame.
William was acting weird this morning, and
He had a vision from Gad.
You get it. He's on a mission from Gad.
yeah, I'm going to follow him towards the back.
Okay.
God divinity.
So, much like William, nobody stops you on your way because everybody's still caught up in everything that Cyrus is saying. You make your way on the back. You see William kind of checking the windows out. William, unless Robert's trying to be stealthy about it, I don't think you would be. It's your pack mate. Right?
Well, I'm trying to be stealthy from the crowd, but not from the packmate.
Yeah, you're good. Once you get outside of them, it's pretty much casual time. William sees that Robert's come with you. You got to kind of back up the buddy system.
I'm just going to look at him and be like, stop trying to figure out how you're going to kill me. And I'll go back to looking.
I'm glad we got that out of the way, guys, because that was tense.
Such a tense relationship this pack has.
So back in the
said
shadow.
I was going to kill you.
Back in the
Your entire tribe thinks that way.
No.
Don't lie again.
Don't make me sick Linnea on you.
Y'all,
Anyways,
as Cyrus,
I can't see nobody back here. So
as Cyrus would say, y'all need Jesus.
Yeah,
Y'all
that's true.
motherfuckers need Jesus.
Well, or some strange facsimile thereof that speaks to me from the shadows. But either way, God probably yes.
So we get back in the shadow for Linnea and Vincent. You manage to frighten off this stone spirit into some semblance of getting back his faculties, that he leaves the scene. He tries to walk around so he doesn't see you and doesn't feel the urge to attack you. You still have the gafflings, at least half a dozen, and a couple of jaglings, one or two, out here. Linnea's still in Garu. Vincent is in his direwolf form. What do you guys do? It's your go. The spirit that has been there has left. Frostwolf is standing behind you, a little distance away from the fire.
I do have politics with a specialty in spirit courts. How far the fuck left of correct are these little gafflings and jaglings?
I won't even make you roll. With your specialty in actual spirit courts, they are completely insane.
Oh no, like I want to use my spirit, like my politics and stuff, to get them to not get the fuck off.
Oh, to
I just want to know,
them.
like, with their laws, how fucked are they right now?
Very.
If they keep pulling this.
So they're very far afield. Obviously, yes, you would expect with a fire of this magnitude that would be some fire spirits here, but this is malicious. This is even like we're getting essence, we're doing our duties, is what we're supposed to do, that we're getting strength. Ha ha ha, fuck you, winter spirits. This is more like we want to destroy.
Okay, so they have massively fucked.
Yes, and it's obvious, like, knowing what you know at spirits courts, everything orderly goes out the window when you have a wound.
Right.
And since Vincent saw it, you get to see it as well. Like, the wound is inside. The scar marks from this fire, this epicenter in the middle of the library, it's pulsating, it's leaking. This is something that would drive them insane. This is a bad thing. Now, mind you, they're afraid of you because you have spirit rank 3 right now.
Uh-huh.
So you're still above them.
And I'm gonna use that to my fullest fucking capability.
Okay, what's the plan?
I fully intend to use my politics to convince them that if they leave now, we will grant them clemency and they will be allowed to leave. If they don't, we will handle it like their masters would.
Go ahead and roll me an
And
intimidation. You want to assist?
I would like to bolster that.
I'd
by
say, is it
saying-
intimidation or politics, Ray? Because I'm literally using their own laws against them.
Politics, I'd let politics take it, yeah.
Okay,
but
so
Jeff-
wits, Paul?
Yeah, what's Paul? Jeff, what's up?
I'm going to bolster that, but I'm going to bolster it utilizing persuasion. And it'll be, I'll make sure if you do this, I will burn a candle for you every night so you can bask around this flame nightly. I'm utilizing my persuasion false promises specialty.
You lying sack of shit. They'll remember.
Goddamn right.
Go ahead and roll. Jeff, roll first because that's going to add to, again, Linnea's successes here.
This is correct, sir. Okay. Roll. Modifier. No, because of specialty.
I'd
And
have to
huzzah.
thesaurus it.
2's not bad. So, just go ahead and roll your politics.
Wits and Paul?
Manipulation and politics. Or
Okay, so I
presence.
remove.
Either one.
I mean, either way, they're both the same. All right. And I get 8 again. Ha 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 ha.
Nice.
Nice.
Got 1 success with the
So you
2
got
from
3.
Jeff.
You got 3 with that. So you basically are barking technically at them and growling at them in the first tongue, which spirits understand because, Father Wolf.
Spirit.
Yeah, spirit. You hear them hiss something back at you in return that is a little weird because it's almost like they're trying to pull a reasoning for why they're doing and what authority they have to do what they're doing. And you start getting a common repetition of words in the first tongue, like fire, pain, burning, fire touched. But they'll slowly start to back away. As they do this, Winterwolf will flare up. He'll actually use one of his Numina for his influence over cold and things of that nature, and start blasting them as a whole, respectively. He'll blow about 4 essence of his 15 to do this, as his pack is trying to do things they're supposed to do, which is harry these individuals and stopping this mayhem. In the real world, you guys will feel a sudden rush of wind pick up from towards the street and blow and blast towards the building, and the flames will start to die down a bit, as in the spirit world, in the shadow, these jaglings and the handful of jaglings that are there and the gafflings will start to flee.
Good. Now we can get inside.
Good.
So you guys are rushing inside after that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So you guys head inside as you have a couple of several moments of like, I guess bought time from your efforts and Frostwolf. You rush inside the building. The building itself in the shadow is a bit different than it actually is in the real world. The walls once were far more pristine. They're filled with all the wonder of people who come in here and read their books that would try to escape from the real world and go on these imaginative journeys and seek all this knowledge. So the walls normally be like a tapestry of different adventures and journeys that people have taken in their physical realm to reflect into the shadow. But when you get there, they're all blackened, scorched, and marred. In the middle of the room, there's this massive blackened, like almost starburst pattern wherever it was that erupted, that caused the fire. And out from that is where the wound begins. And it smells of burned flesh, of burned hair. There's this feeling of desperation and pain. There's also hanging in the air like this blackish smoke that seems to cling to everything that is in the area. So as you walk in, it starts clinging to your fur. So for Vincent in direwolf form and for Linnea in the war form, your fur starts to get blackened by the spiritual essence of the smoke. And you can see that greenish pus bubbling out from the wounds in the umbra.
Now, from this point, to continue like getting to the point where we can start trying to treat this wound, we have to get rid of the rest of the insane fire spirits in here now, right?
The spirits have to be driven off or fixed, and the physical world, reflection, has to be stopped as well.
Okay. Well, hopefully, fucking fire department's on their way, and the snow will help. Hopefully,
Yeah. So when a wound occurs in the umbra, or in the shadow, as it were, you have to do something to reverse that buildup of sudden resonance. Right now, there's a lot of pain, a lot of fire, a lot of fear. That's the resonance that's in the area that's infecting the shadow. You have to get rid of that somehow. And that's a long process to close a wound. So it can be things like, okay, let's do a rebuilding drive in the real world. Let's, have people come together in the community to, give thanks to people who made the library here, the librarians, to try to turn that tide of resonance around to fix the wound. And that's a longer standing project. It's not going to be fixed in one day. You can stave off the fire spirits, and you're doing that right now, but to fix the wound, it's a longer process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, are there now spirits of knowledge in here that are a little cuckoo too?
Yes, but they're cowing from you. These are all like gafflings. The major spirits, like, either got driven off or got consumed by this blaze. And that's
Okay.
fucking weird.
I'm gonna just keep predators claiming.
Okay. In the real world, Ethan sees the fire, especially around where you're at, has died down. Like, it's almost as if you hit a lull in the flame, that you have some breathing room. You won't be taking damage this round because there's no spirits who are actively using their spirit, their charms, essentially. So you get into the main area, you see the body. It's probably a older male, male or female, can't really tell because it's just a skeleton and just burned clothes and charcoal right now. Easily an adult, probably 30, maybe 40 at most.
Okay. I'm just gonna, without touching it, I'm just gonna kind of look it over to see if like the body, like he's kind of clutched over like this, like hunched over.
Yep, just hunched.
So I'm looking to see if like he's holding anything, if he's like if there's anything that's still like recognizable on him that I could pull from the
There's
charcoal.
a small bit of paper in one hand that's mostly burned, but it looks like it's like mad scribbles. Viewing it, it's somebody tried to do a phonetic spelling of the first tongue. So wolf speak essentially. And again, you just see the eye. Well, essentially, what would be the last part of fire, and then touched.
Okay. Well, I'm going to reach in and kind of pull that out from the remains.
Okay.
Like try to pull it out as carefully as I can to not damage it. And if that's the only thing that I can see, I mean, obviously this is like charcoal.
His clothes are all burned to just dust and charcoal. The skin's all gone. It's just flayed back by flames to be nothing but bone. But having just worked a arson, the blast pattern is not natural, like I was saying earlier.
Yeah. Like it started from him.
Yes, from him. Not like something on him, but from him.
Yeah.
As if the flames just erupted forth from his body.
Yeah.
Outside of the building, you guys hear those sirens actually starting to get closer and can see down the block towards the north. The sirens and fire engines probably about 3 blocks out. They're coming as fast as they can, but it's still slow going. You've got probably at least another like 2 or 3 minutes until they get here.
Okay. I'm going to place my hand upon the young child's head that was in the library, and I'll be
Mother's touch?
channeling. I'll be, yeah. No, just fake God healing. I'll put my hand on his head and I'll pray for him and try to channel some of that light into him. There's nothing's going to happen. But
When you touch the kid, the back of the head, like I said, he's fainted from the pain. His skin is unnaturally hot. Like, he's got... Well, you would expect to see like a 3rd-degree burn, so like a little bit of reddish tinge around the skin, the face, this exposed flesh, a little bit of blisters here and there. But when you touch him, like, you'd expect residual heat, but he's hot. Like, you're touching like a hot pan right now.
Well, the tea got cold, and it got cold because I was touching it. So maybe we can sap some of that heat and transfer a little bit of cold into him.
Fair. I mean, why not, right?
I don't know.
It doesn't work. You try because, hey, why not? I mean, weird shit has happened in my house. God willing, this could work here. It doesn't, though. As you like focus and try, like, hey, I soaked up a lot of cold. I had some snow on me. You notice as you're touching him as well, the snow around his body is melting.
Okay.
The congregation you have with you doesn't notice this. They're still like praying, for deliverance and that somebody can save the library. And when they hear the sirens and see the fire engines, it just becomes like hope. Hope rushes this area and just floods it. However, this kid's still burning the fuck up, and it's unnaturally so.
Okay. How does one go about perceiving spirits?
So, as a Ratha, you can naturally cast your senses to the other side.
Okay.
The only thing that happens is that depending on how thick the gauntlet is, you may have a penalty to your perception. And since you're in an urban area, but you're relatively close to a locus and some supernatural activity that just the fuck went down, the penalty's not so severe. So you can look across naturally at any given time. It just takes an action.
Okay.
So you look into the spirit world,
Yeah.
and you see there's something inside this kid, a fire spirit of some type, but it's far outstripping any fire spirit you've ever seen.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to try to like banish a spirit that I don't even know how to fucking do that. So,
Banish is a rite.
well, I do.
have it.
I have the right, but doesn't a right require like
Time.
multiple people?
Well, you can do it by yourself. It just takes a couple minutes. But that is clearly a weird thing to do in front of a group of onlookers.
True story.
And one of the
Speak it in
tenets,
tongues.
well, he could, but one of the tenets of the oath of the moon is the prey should not know that you exist. So the people near you, your congregation, shouldn't know you're doing anything. And if they do see something, they should be easily explained as something else.
Now, quick question. Would it be possible for someone in the shadow to do it?
To banish, and how long does banish take?
So
And
here's
also,
the
banish.
thing. You guys don't see him because he's literally riding a host.
Yes, but this would be something we would kind of sort of know in theory.
Yes. So banishment can work in the umbra, but in the shadow. But here's the thing: when you do it in the physical world, like where Cyrus is, when he does banishment, whatever spirit's there, like in Twilight or in the physical world, gets banished back to the shadow. If you're in the shadow, you can't banish a spirit back to the shadow. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So you have to be in the physical realm. It's like an exorcism. You can't exorcise something from where it actually exists.
Makes sense.
So, would it be possible for me to disguise this banishment into a prayer for this child and just making those the evil spirits that the fire rained down upon him to leave and
Demon, be gone!
Yes. I will let you roll a subterfuge roll for that. It's definitely going to be a manipulation
okay.
to start getting that lie together and mask it. However, well, actually, no. I'll give you a +1 bonus, a +1 modifier for the fact that they're enraptured in this religious fervor you've imparted upon them.
Okay.
You also have a bonus dice, if you wish, in the pool right now that Bobby granted to you guys and not the NPCs.
Yeah,
Bobby,
I'll take it.
Thanks, Bobby.
All
we
right.
appreciate you
So you're going to use a bonus one too?
saving our asses.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
I mean, why not? It's fucking evil ass spirit, or it's just a normal spirit and a kid.
Normal spirit's gone bumbuck crazy.
All
You
right.
take a look at the bench.
The ancient sacred language of the angels.
Okay. Got
Damn.
one out of that. All right.
Success is success.
One is all
It's
you
a
need,
start.
really, because you've already got them into the fervor. Like, it's just easy to mask it as something else, right? So that's literally all you needed. Let me adjust that that thing really quick. So your bonus dice. Let's make it a 0 now. Bobby, that one dice may have actually helped him succeed in this. So the banishment
That may
rite.
have been the one he needed.
I don't think. Let me double check. Who did rights that put it in the back? You did, Jesse. So I'm gonna look at yours.
I
Oh,
did
no, you
too,
didn't.
but I didn't actually put the whole right there. I put the page number in there.
Was it? No, it
so
wasn't Ethan.
for banish,
Oh shit.
is
I think I
page
re-rolled
142.
tens on that.
You do.
It should
I
automatically
have-
do it.
I have a specialization.
Oh, you get additional dice.
you get an extra die.
Okay.
The 10s automatically explode?
Yeah. I don't know if it's
Ray?
It did nothing exploded.
Banish is page 142, and it's a pack right.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
So I want to double check there isn't a roll for that we need. Banish. All right, so this rite invokes the Pack's authority as a guardian between the two worlds, casting intruders out from realms to which they do not belong. Hey-ya. All right, so what do we roll here? Ascendant 5 successes, for a minute.
I roll wits, occult, wisdom.
Oh.
No, that's not what I roll
No,
at all.
it's Ascendant 5 successes, each roll press 1 minute. Spirit around the shadow. Where's the right casting? Let's take a look at what you need for rights. Again, I knew that we would fuck this up. All right. I'm
Hey,
fucking
it's not so
wrong.
much a fuck up
It's
as
gonna
it's
be
the first time we're doing
The
it.
attribute
Yep,
It's
consists
gonna be
of
something occult.
the dice pool consists of attribute plus skill. So
Okay.
it's up to you. It's your style, actually. Occult is definitely the skill you're using.
Okay.
What attribute? Like, how do you want to do? Do you want to do it with finesse, like by what you're saying? Do you want to like so for your manipulation, for example, or do you want to by force of presence by your authority as an Ratha to cast this foul spirit out? How do you want to handle that?
I am going to use manipulation, and the reason why I'm going to do that is because I know if I just went full bore and spoke the language that the spirit particularly understood, these people would not be so quick to jump on that.
Right.
But God's language is mysterious. So I'll use the one that they know so that I can manipulate this spirit out, because if he doesn't leave, then I'll fail. And that's basically
That's
what's gonna happen.
unacceptable.
Yeah, that's unacceptable.
You can blow willpower for 3 additional dice on this roll.
Oh, can I?
Yep.
Okay, I'll do that then. That
Okay.
seems like a fair thing. How do I add that to the roll?
It'll be the modifier whenever you click the
Oh,
thing.
yeah. Okay.
You got this.
I said, get out, demon.
Demon be gone.
You said demon get out. Damn.
You said demon, get out. All right, so
I'm gonna take the pain and the hatred that's melted into this child's body, and I'm gonna take it to me and throw it out. Throw it out.
all right, so
Power of God banish thee.
We have lost all control, folks.
usually you need 5 successes, but I'm gonna let you have it with 3 because that's just fucking great. So first off, the banishment goes off, and you manage to hide it in the religious sermon you're effectively giving to the crowd around you, right? So as you're talking about banishing this unclean spirit out of this child who has burned him by the grace of God, you cast him out, get thee behind me, Satan type situation, you go through about a minute of this, and you feel this surge of energy get released as you banish the spirit back into the shadow. The problem is, it explodes. It literally explodes. So, I need you to roll your stamina plus your resolve. This is a total of 5 damage. Now, I'm going to roll just general for a couple of members that are in the crowd that are there. So 4 dice for them, and we'll see if they manage to avoid it.
There are some people that are about to have a lot of faith in fucking God.
3 successes. You only take 2 lethal. They take everything. So effectively,
Ouch.
this blasts you back against the doorway of the library. The presence leaves, but it leaves an incineration of everything around it. The kid gets even further burned and more horribly burned, but it goes out almost immediately as the spirit gets forcefully thrown into the shadow. You get blasted back, your face is red, you've got a couple of burns on your hands, especially when you were touching the kid. Your clothes are singed, they're starting to smoke, you can smell like the fabrics burning under your nose. The people who were praying around you get blasted back onto their backs and on their butts. And they're just like, oh, Jesus, the Lord delivered us. And start falling into a fervor, even though they have their hair is burned. They've got essentially like a 2nd degree sunburn on their faces. Their clothes are singed and partially melted because they're wearing polyester and other mixed fabrics that the Bible forbids. And this is as Robert and William walk around the corner and see the end of the banishment. You guys just see a huge explosion of flame as these 6 people outside get blasted onto their butts into the snow. All right, and that wraps this particular episode up. We had an awesome banishment rite done by Cyrus that had a bit of an unintended effect, but it did what it was supposed to do. It banished the spirit back into the shadow, just a little more in a painful way than he had anticipated. We also got to see Linnea utilize some of her gifts to assert dominance over the spirit courts, as well as Vincent scaring a bunch of gafflings and jaglings into, I guess, a semblance of obedience. Let's see what happens when we pick up in the next video.